I got a question randomly because I know Trump he'd been floating getting rid of the Board of Education nationally and leaving it up to the states. I'm just curious from your perspective, because then you got states like Florida who are obviously going to, do the DeSantis thing, take out all kinds of shit. But do you think that's a good or a bad thing? If it's like up to the states, what the curriculum is that kids are learning?
I think it's both. I think the response should be, right? I've always said digital education is a new Harvard. People don't always like my takes on education.
That's true though.
But it is what it is. Like right now on TikTok, there's they got this thing called Human Talk, right? Where essentially a bunch of professors are signed up to teach one-on-one classes, right? Like History 101, or Black History 101, or financial. What's the problem with doing that? What's the problem with taking a responsibility and educating ourselves? Because they never go teach you certain things anyway.
Yeah.
The education system has not been the one that created the prideful Black American. It hasn't created, and number one, depending on where you live at, right? There's not even enough finances for you to get a proper and good education. They're creating memorization.
That's really all it is, because now you have to just pass the test,
and that's not good enough for the world we live in no more.
And then there's no national implementation of learning financial literacy.
I don't believe people care for it. I think they do, or a lot of time people misaligned. Right? If that's the case, I would have had all kind of donors lined up to be like, Keys, how can we amplify your platform?
Right.
I ain't never had a Black leader or organization ever come to me with any proposition whatsoever. So to me, it gives me, my relationship, right, is a love and hate one that when something happens, how don't we respond accordingly? It's because we keep begging for somebody to save us like we ain't got no power. When they cut off the education pipeline, then how come we don't create a national organization to educate ourselves? And we identify teachers, philosophers, and curriculum to figure out, all right, how do we have our own no Black child left behind?
Right.
You feel me? Because the education system don't work for us anyway. We are the least educated. We look at the health department. We're the most unhealthy. And we act like we don't want radical disruption.
And that's the thing. It's like that's the case for it. It's like, well, guys, we're kind of getting smoked in the education department.
I brought this textbook because it's a textbook we made with me and my brother Quay, Cheat Code. And as I was saying earlier, we had the free food. This is the new free food. I want to be able to get all of our knowledge in textbooks in every Black home, right? To where we have the knowledge and skill sets to do for self. And now we don't have no excuses. Now we just need to sit down as a family and learn and then execute. Because when you got the knowledge that's like in this book, we can do it. So we got a nonprofit to where either we're able to sell these or we work with people that will help us get them to people for free, right? Whether it's university students, whether it's just the average home. How do you get financial literacy inside the home? Because 90% of our problems is based on money.
Yeah, and I think that's, you said we're kind of, we are a content society now, which is why it's dope when, Market Mondays happens. And then you got guys like Earn Your Leisure who are cracking, or yourself. And it's like, there's really no
excuse.
There's no excuse.
We just got to talk to people straight up.
Because maybe you don't want to read a textbook.
Yeah.
But guess what? All that shit is there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I just sent my mom, because my mom's, older and...
But the textbook is just, not to cut your wisdom.
No, go ahead.
But the textbook is just to go along with your digital.
No, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, yo, how do we make sure... that's why...
How do we make sure we got no goddamn excuses?
Right.
And we can manage a process. Because let's say if I say, okay, well, everybody got the textbook, now you join the class. Okay, turn to chapter 42. You feel me?
And then while
we're about to go over stocks and how to do, or why to invest in bonds, or how to dollar cost average.
Right, or learn options, and
exactly. What's QQQ, whatever it is. This is not a competition to anybody's program. This is complementary to it.
For sure.
You feel me? And the goal is, why don't we just have solutions like this? Let's get goddamn textbooks of our own history in every household.
Right.
And then have a digital component
like
connected to that.
You don't have to depend on the education system.
Well, what does college have the most? They have the network and the experience. So now we need to figure out how do we create those experiences, because 50%, according to Robert Smith, 50% of Black wealth goes towards college debt, right? So we spend so much money getting an education that's outdated that we can't even utilize to get ourselves ahead, which is dangerous.
Yeah.
I want to figure out how we can be more efficient, because he gave all that money to the HBCU. But my thing was all of those college students actually learning skill sets that can help you nation build? that are actually going to be valuable in the future, because I would rather us incentivize and say, at that time, every student who's learning engineering and AI and data analysts, so that in the future, you have a large group of students that do have no debt and they're getting the most important jobs in the country, right? That to me is strategic thinking. Not just paying off the debt, but how do we incentivize and say we need more engineers, right? Mm-hmm. We need to have our own category of people so that we have everything that we need. And then how do we figure out how to educate that group in that class? Because I don't need you to just walk across the stage. Mm-hmm. We need the people with the right valuable skills.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, the experience is more, it's like more about that, or the societal acceptance of, well, I got a degree.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's a bad thing to get a degree, but it's like at the end of the day, like you said, there's no boundaries to like the internet.
We got to stop.
Information's free.
Education is direct correlated to, of course, how much money you make, right? There is a direct correlation. But we have to understand also now it's a non-traditional education that you can get as well, and we have to recognize that. And a lot of times we use those as like badges, right? Against somebody that we consider to not be educated. It's just these fraternities. I went to this school. You didn't go to school. I'm better than you.
Right.
But it couldn't be true because I didn't finish college, right? And I make more money than 99% of people who did.
Right.
So what makes me special, right? It's the fact that I decided to educate myself. I think education is a lifelong journey.
For sure.
Right? You're not about to go to school and learn ChatGPT and DeepSeek and how to create AI agents right now. I mean, you could take somebody's course on it. But the biggest thing is what we missing is just discipline to manage ourselves through the process.
Yep.
That's what it really comes down to.